You know, it's very difficult to estimate what are the odds that when you buy an item from Amazon, that item is a counterfeit. There have been many news articles written about this. The estimates that they contain are all over the place. Some people say it's 10%. Some people say it's 20%. Some people say it's as high as 30%. And some people say it's less than 1%. So how can we possibly figure out what is the real number? I am a process engineer and this is my channel. And one way of figuring out what the real number is to actually buy a bunch of items from Amazon and then test them to see which ones are counterfeits. But before I did that, I wanted to do a little bit of research and see if anybody else has done this. And it turns out there was a university professor who did something very similar to this. He bought 100 items from Amazon. They were not necessarily random items. They were mostly electronics and he got both new and used items. So the prices ranged from $9 to $75. And he also said that he stuck to well-known brands. Well, he got 25 of the items that were counterfeits. That is a 25% failure rate. But this was not good enough for me. I wanted to dig deeper. So I decided that I was going to buy some items and then test them myself. Now, I'm not going to be able to get 100 items because that would cost tens of thousands of dollars, but I can get a statistically significant sample with just 17 items. Let's talk about how I did that. I chose 17 because it's an odd number and it's just a bit more than a multiple of 16, which is 2 to the 4th power. Why do I need a multiple of 16? Well, let's say I want to flip a coin 16 times and I want to see what are the odds of getting exactly 8 heads. Well, if you actually work out the calculation, you'll find that there are 12 different combinations that will satisfy this condition. You can get 8 heads in 12 different ways out of the 16 flips. Therefore, the probability of getting exactly 8 heads when you flip a coin 16 times is 12 divided by 65,536, which is about 0.018 or 0.18%. So what does this mean? This means that if I buy 17 items and 8 of them are counterfeits, I can be fairly confident that the true number is very close to 8 divided by 17, or about 47%. Now, of course, this calculation assumes that each item either is or isn't a counterfeit. In other words, it's a binomial distribution, but that's okay because it's just an estimate anyway. So I did buy 17 items and I'm gonna tell you what they are and whether they're counterfeit or not in my next video.